Hey everyone, what's up and welcome to the channel. We are back today and we're going to be playing some more of the first Descendant. Now today we're going to talk about Valby. Valby is a character who's been getting a lot of attention over the past couple of days. I think a lot more interest has been developing for her, and therefore a lot more people are going to want to know how to unlock her. So we're going to go over the steps and details regarding how to get her parts today. There is still some confusion people are having when it comes to the amorphous materials in general, but specifically as well when it comes to reactors and void fragments. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about that today, just to clear up any confusion people still have. And yeah, hopefully you can get your hands on Valby. Now I always take you guys over here. I'm not just going to tell you to go over here. I do want to talk about some of this stuff in detail. When it comes to the research parts, specifically on Valby, she's not one of the easier descendants to get. I mean, she's not like incredibly difficult, but at the same time, she's nowhere near as easy as the starter descendants like Bunny or Freyna. The game's not exactly gonna just spoon feed them to you. You kind of actually got to do some real grind work to go get their stuff. So here we have the Valby enhanced cells. We got the stabilizer, spiral catalyst, and Valby code, where I think some of the confusion still comes into play for a lot of people when it comes to how to grind for descendants. These first three materials are pretty easy. These are just straight up resources. If we click F on this, you go to any of these locations and you'll get your hands on some Repton. But when it comes to the actual blueprints for the enhanced cells, it's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Now, if we click F on here, we got 4 different locations. These bottom 3 locations are void fusion reactors. Void fusion reactors is where you're going to need to go to deliver your amorphous material to have a drop chance at potentially getting these enhanced blueprint cells. In addition to this, the top location is an intercept battle. This is not where you go to get the amorphous material. You click this and it will take you to Vespers on normal difficulty, and if you complete this, then you'll get the amorphous material. Once again, this amorphous material contains a bunch of items, but Valby's Valby's enhanced cells will be one of the options you have a drop chance at getting. I'm going to take you guys to the access info tab here, because if you actually come over here and click on the amorphous materials section, you can type in Valby into here, and all the amorphous materials that revolve around Valby will show up. You can see the amorphous materials that you actually currently have right now, like it'll show you if you have some. But yeah, in addition to that, it'll tell you the drop rate chance on some of these amorphous materials, and you can see all the other items that are in here that you have a chance at getting. And so if we come back in here and we go to Descendants and we come all the way back down to Valby, I think some of these will be a little bit more straightforward. Like I said, if we come here to the cells and you have this amorphous material, you click it, you go do the mission, you get it, and then you want to have a chance at getting your drop from the amorphous material, you just go kill the boss. Pretty straightforward. It says right here that's where you got to take it. But for the void fusion reactors and the void fragment missions, that's where I think a little bit of confusion still happens. These outposts are where you're going to be going to get your amorphous materials. Once again, we just explained these are what have a drop chance at dropping you your blueprint. Now you're probably wondering why there's duplicates right here. It says Fortress Normal Converter Facility Volga Strategic Outpost. It says the exact same thing right here. So why does it give you the same option twice? That's because some missions have special qualities to completing them. Like Sharon is someone who can infiltrate outposts, and if you do it stealthily without being detected, you get extra rewards. So you could probably, really double milk on a single mission and get the most out of all your rewards, or you could just do it the straightforward way and just run in and rinse and repeat without the extra reward. So all's dandy. You got your amorphous material. All you got to do is redeem it now to have a drop chance at getting your cells. But where do you take it? If we go to the intercept battle here, that requires 016, so our amorphous material won't be redeemable at this location. The bosses on normal mode are super simple though. But for these ones, it says I have to go to void fusion reactors. These are all different void fusion reactors. And if we go to our map here, I'm gonna go to any random location here just to show you guys how this will work. If we had to go to, let's say, this void fusion reactor right here. This reactor is where we'll go to complete the mission, and then we'll have a chance at inserting our amorphous material. One of the blue globes will spawn and we'll be able to redeem it there. But in order to start this void fusion reactor, we have to have a couple of resources. You guys can see it says monomer void shards, we need 11, and inorganic void shards, we need 4. But what happens if you don't have these void shards? Well, then you can't start the void reactor. And if you can't start the void reactor, then you can't redeem your amorphous material and you can't get your drop of potentially what could be your Valby cells. And so what do you do here now? I mean, we don't have any void shards. Well, you can have a friend activate these things for you. If he has some of the void shards already, then he can activate it for you and you will be able to redeem your amorphous material at the end. The thing with these void reactors is if you scroll all the way down here, there is another set of rewards that says additional rewards for using void shards. You get solenoid. This isn't important if you're just trying to redeem the amorphous material, but if you didn't meet the void shard requirements to start this mission, you won't be getting these rewards when you complete it. Once again, that's not important if you're just focused on redeeming your amorphous material, but if you didn't have a friend who could start this mission for you because he has the requirements for the void shards, then you would need to go to a void fragment that has the matching components and farm that in order to get shards to activate this mission. It's honestly a bit of a tedious process. So for this one, once again, we need monomer void shards and inorganic void shards. We would need to do this void fragment mission. Now, if we scroll all the way down here, we can read that it says monomer void shards as the reward and inorganic void shards as the reward. Those are the void shards we need to start the reactor, to then have the opportunity to redeem our amorphous material, to have a chance at unlocking our Valby cells. It's a long process, I won't lie. So just like the void reactor missions, which need shards in order to start it, these void fragment missions need certain attribute stats to start this. And if you want to get these rewards, you need to make sure you're starting it with the attributes that match the Descendant. If you have a friend and he starts this because he's playing Bunny, this mission requires an electric type attribute on a Descendant. Bunny would be able to start it. You could play it as Freyna, but if you finish the mission and you weren't also an electric attribute Descendant, you're not going to get these void shards. So this is something now that leads you to having to maybe grind some Descendants to be able to, you know, take on void fragment missions, to be able to get the void fragments, to then be able to activate the reactors, to then be able to so on, yada, yada, yada. You get the point. Then you'll need to go grind some Descendants and hopefully it'll make your life a little bit easier. So that's how the grind process works. I know it may have been a little bit confusing, and to be honest, when you don't really know what's going on, it was at first, but yeah, if you want these materials, these blueprints, now you know. These are the locations where you redeem the amorphous material. You click them, it'll take you where you need to get the amorphous material. There is a difference though. And to make it a little bit easier for you guys, I will have the link to this in the description if you are still confused on my explanation of how void fragment missions and void reactor missions still work. If you go over to the First Descendant website, there is a whole guide section, game info, game guides, and here you can find actual guides that fully explain void fragments and how the nuances of these missions work, and same with the void fusion reactors. These are concepts and mission types in the game that you need to understand in order to effectively be able to farm and loot properly. So getting a good grasp of that will definitely make someone like Valby a lot easier if you haven't unlocked anybody after Bunny and Freyna. That's not to sound condescending, because honestly I don't have a lot of Descendants unlocked either. I just, you know, really got a good grasp for everything not that long ago too. So yeah, hopefully that helped you guys out. So yeah, here we are with Valby. Now Valby's been getting a lot of attention, and yesterday I made a video because I just unlocked the Python SMG, and everybody was preaching about how good this Python SMG would be with a build on Valby, because this gun capitalizes on weak point damage. If I come over here to its stats, it doesn't have a lot of critical hit rate, but Valby would really be able to increase this up to like 25%. So having insane weak point damage and actually getting a decent critical hit rate out of this gun would just be a monster. And so I'm going to take you to the access info and show you the module that people are excited about. If you come in here and you just type in Valby, we can find the supply moisture. It says while on water, increases skill critical hit rate, skill duration, and firearm attribute trigger rate. This is the build everybody's going to be wanting to make around Valby. Don't get me wrong, a lot of our other builds are great too, but this one just turns her into a gunny demon. And it's perfect that I just broke down how void reactors and void fragment missions work, because if you guys actually wanted to get your hands on this module, you're going to be grinding reactors and void fragment missions for quite an extensive period of time. So yeah, this is where you're going to be able to do it. There's a lot of different options in terms of being able to go about it. I honestly just got my hands on Valby, so I'm going to go in here just to show off some of her abilities and kind of talk about what has incentivized me to play her a little bit more now. My interest is peaked over a Descendant like Bunny, who I've been maining pretty much since the start of my playtime with the first Descendant. Bunny is someone who prioritizes a lot of area damage. She's great at taking down mobs, but the one thing you don't get a whole lot out of when it comes to Bunny is a variety in terms of weapons that you can use, and especially just the amount of gun engagements you really get while playing the game. She's not that great against bosses. I mean, she can be decent against bosses, don't get me wrong, but definitely not as powerful as what Valby could be. And it does get a little mundane when you're just constantly exploding people with the click of a button while playing a shooter, rather than having to actually aim and shoot a bunch of different targets and target switch. It's just a more engaging process, and video games is about having fun, and so I'm looking to have a little bit more fun. And so yeah, I think Valby is a great supplement. Obviously, once we were to get her module, her abilities that allow you to stand on water and deal that insane amount of crit damage. I mean, this ability is fantastic because there's just water everywhere. This ability is also fantastic. It gives her some mobility too, because you can actually like portal around with that thing. And her X ability is also some great mobility. This skill is just a little bit slower than the runaround that Bunny has. My friend Dimmy, he actually used that ability a lot when I was playing with him. And yeah, he was pretty much keeping up with me as Bunny. It also has stacks. So like it can stack multiple times. When you use skills on water, you also consume less MP, but that skill goes away once you put on that module that we're all talking about. I think the only weak side to her kit is probably her ultimate. I mean, I've seen some people complain that it's not that great, but if you can do an efficient job at actually getting enemies wet, your ultimate will be a lot more effective. A lot of people don't know that unless they're covered in water, they won't actually get pulled into the bubble, which is why sometimes targets from like all the way over here will get pulled into a bubble all the way over here. It's because they need to be wet. But yeah, overall, I just think Valby is a nice switch up. She's a character who has a lot of gun build potential. She has some very fun abilities. And in addition to that, which is why I like to play someone like Bunny, she still has some great mobility options to give herself some survivability and, maneuverability in colossal fights and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Valby is going to be probably the next character that I build up. One of the main weapons I will be grinding on her is definitely the Python. Like once again, I already talked about it, but I do think it has fantastic potential. And the Thunder Cage is another good gun because this thing has electric qualities, and she actually debuffs enemies and makes them more prone to electricity. So yeah, overall, that's how you get Valby. I hope I helped you guys out when it comes to some of the understanding for void reactors and void fragment missions. I know there's a lot of other Descendants who also require it, but Valby is my next Descendant that I'll be going for, and you got to know how they work. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope the video helped you out. Let me know if you guys are gonna be grinding for Valby, and I do stream on Twitch. Link to that will be in the description if you guys want to hang out with me over there and chill while I probably build up Valby. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for the support on the YouTube channel as well. You guys have been amazing. The numbers have been fantastic, and it's awesome to see so many people excited about a common game in the comment section. So thank you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Keep up, stay up. Peace out.